Hello. Welcome to the fifth video of the episode 1 on the basic operations in Excel. In the last video, we discussed about how to perform sum and also to compute average. In this video, we are going to see some more functions which are very basic in nature. So here we have the data sheet. Student ID is there, student name is there, marks in mathematics and science is there. Total marks is also available. So today what we are going to do is we are going to find out in the subject mathematics who is the topper. In the subject science, who is the topper. Same way for both the subjects we are going to find out who is the second topper, who is the third topper, who has secured the lowest mark in both the subject and who has scored the second lowest marks in both the subject. So in order to find the topper, which is the highest score or the highest number, largest number, we have a function in Excel called as max. So we are going to use a function called as max over here. To find the second largest or the second topper, we have a function called as large. For the third also we have the same function large. To find out the lowest score, we have a function called as min. To find the second lowest, we have a function called as small. So these are the functions we are going to use today. So first we'll start with the topper in mathematics. So any function or formula, you remember we have to start with the equal to symbol. And here we are going to use the max function. So max open bracket, and we need to just give the numbers or we need to give the cell range. So in this case we have 10 numbers which we are going to give it as a input in the form of cell range. So I go to the data sheet, I click on the cell C2, control shift down arrow to select the entire range of cells. I don't want to include the average which is in the last row. So I'm going to press the shift button down and I'm going to press the up arrow once. So that will free up the last row. So we have the cells starting from, oh my god, we need to select it from C2. So control shift down arrow and then again shift and up arrow to release the last row. So now I'll close the bracket. You can have a look at the formula bar over here. The formula is there, equal to max C2 is to C11. I'm going to press the enter button. That gives me the topper in maths, and I need to find out the second topper in maths. So I enter the formula with the large function equal to large open bracket. The same column I need to select. So here in large function we need to give two inputs. One is the array, which is the cell range. Second is which largest you want, second position or third position or fourth, which we need to give it as a numeric, in the form of a number. We need to give it a second input. So in the max function we gave only one input, which is the cell range. Remember it, in the large function we need to give two inputs. One is the cell range followed by the position. So I need to click on the cell C2, control shift down arrow, which selects the entire column. I do not want the last column which has the average marks. So I press shift button and up arrow once, and then whenever in Excel, remember this, when you enter a formula with multiple inputs, each and every input in the formula is separated with a comma. And so here I'm going to give a comma because the second thing is I need to give the second input, which is the position of that number. So in this case we want the second topper, so I'm going to give the numeric 2 and close bracket. So remember, for a large function there are two inputs, cell range and then the position. Before that we need to separate the two inputs with a comma and a space. Space is not mandatory, but it looks good if you want after the comma when you give a space. So I have given the cell range C2 is to C11, comma and then space, the second position. And then once again for the third position we are going to use the same large function, open bracket. We'll select the range of cell, control shift down arrow, shift up arrow once, comma space. Here we need the third position, so the third topper. So I'm going to press the enter button. That gives me the third position. In order to find the lowest we are going to use the min function, open bracket. So min function works exactly similar to the max function with just one input, but then it's going to give the reverse. It's going to give the lowest of the range of cells. So I'm going to select the column. I'm going to press enter. So that is the lowest. In order to find the second lowest, we are going to use the function small. Small works similar to the large function. We need to give two inputs. One is the cell range, the second is the position. So here once again I'm going to select the cell range, click on the first cell, Control Shift down arrow. Last row needs to be excluded, so I'm going to press Shift and up arrow once, and then comma space. We need the second smallest, so I'm going to give the numeric 2. So we need the second lowest, so the position is from the lowest, it is the second value, so we are going to give the numeric 2 and press enter. So this way we could compute the largest, second topper, third topper, or smallest or lowest, and then the second lowest values. So we can simply copy and paste it here for science, but for the sake of practice, we are going to repeat the same formula for the subject science also. Because maths and science are in the adjacent columns, we could just simply, I could go here and click and drag over this side. That will copy the formula, but for the sake of practice, we will do it once again. We'll repeat the steps separately. So for max function equal to max, open bracket, and now I'm going to select the science column, and then I'm going to close the bracket, press enter. For the largest one, I'm going to use the large function, open bracket. For large function, it is two inputs. So here we need the second largest, so I give the numeric 2, enter. For the third largest, once again large function, open bracket, and then we are going to select the column, and then we are going to give the numeric 3. So this is our formula, press enter. And for the smallest, we are going to use the min function, and I'm going to select the column, close the bracket, enter. For the small function, we are going to, for the second lowest, we are going to use the small function, and then we need two inputs, the range of cells, comma, the position, which is the second smallest, and then I'm going to press the enter button. So this gives the smallest or the second lowest score in the subject mathematics. So I hope you learned two important basic functions, in fact 4: min, max, small, and large. Thank you so much for joining. Please like the video, share it with others so that others can also learn. Subscribe to my channel. We would come up with many more number of videos. Thank you so much for joining. Bye bye.